Free agency's here. We're already getting some big signings. We had some trades as well. We're going to look at some players to trade in Dynasty Fantasy Football. We're going to do multiple videos like this throughout the week because news is going to hit us hard and fast. So we're going to jump in. We're going to look at multiple players, their values, time in the market, right now, in the future, whatever's going to happen. But we're looking at these player values. Before we dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We're looking at dynasty trades and values every single day. We're looking at the rookie drafts. We're trying to help you build your dynasty teams, win that money and everything else. Click that button. Stop missing out. First player we're talking about today, DK Metcalf going to the Steelers. We don't have a quarterback yet, but it sounds like, or there's a good chance it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. And if that signing goes through, that's going to be rather impactful to the offense, considering what we saw last year with Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson. The one thing about Aaron Rodgers, if this does happen, we know he will funnel two wide receivers immensely and not anybody else on the team. So a good chance DK Metcalf will get a lot of targets, double digits per game, as Davante Adams averaged 10 targets per game with Garrett Wilson there, averaging 9 targets per game. So there will be opportunity there for DK Metcalf. However, this will be a slower-paced offense. Aaron Rodgers is slower paced, so that will be a major impact. DK Metcalf last year, 3 wide receiver 1 weeks, 13 points per game, averaging 7.3 targets per game last year. There were some games with double-digit targets, some games a little less, but still. Jackson Smith-Njigba emerged in the offense. We had a little bit of injuries in the middle of the season. We're valued as the wide receiver 22 per keep trade cut. There's going to be some dynasty gamers that don't like this, and there's going to be some dynasty gamers who are just kind of intrigued, but I don't think the market's going to go crazy about DK Metcalf going to the Steelers, but he did have a 21.3% target share with an 8 out of 13.7, averaging almost 99 air yards per game, running a 94.3 route participation rate. Nonetheless, that's good work rates. It's not top tier. It's not generational. It's not going to win your league, but it's not going to lose it. That's good work rate. We're double digits in the ADOT. We're over 20% on the target share. We're running almost all the routes. We're getting enough air yards per game to really funnel and fuel fantasy production. Can we get that to transition to Pittsburgh, though? Slower paced team. We don't know the quarterback yet. Sounds like right now, per social media, Adam Schefter and everything, that it is close with Aaron Rodgers. Sam Darnold just signed. We got some quarterbacks off the market. Justin Fields signed. There's not many options for the Steelers. That being said, what's the quarterback situation going to look like? And can this get fueled? That will be the main question. Target share-wise, with him sharing the load with George Pickens, it should be very similar, and the ADOT should be very similar. He should give you similar results, honestly. And when I mean by results, not exactly like 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. I'm saying volatility. Probably up and down all season long. That's probably what we're going to see. And we'll probably have a run of games where we hit. I imagine we're going to get a fair amount of deep shots every game and games where it's silent. I think we're still going to get some opportunities to prove ourselves. But looking at DK Metcalf here, we are valued with some other wide receivers that are younger, that are holding their value, that's in a more stable situation that you may want to explore. He's 27 years old. A couple more years with the Steelers. We'll be pushing 30. That's something to think about. DK Metcalf here is a player you may want to think about. You may want to watch the value throughout these next few days, weeks, and through training camp, and how things progress with the Steelers, even with George Pickens, because he averaged 11.9 PPR points per game. And like I said with DK Metcalf, it was up and down, up and down. We'll get into those numbers, but I'm expecting both these wide receivers to be vastly volatile. Wide receiver 30 in the value here, 7.3 targets per game. That being said, we don't know the quarterback. We're guessing Aaron Rodgers. That's what the media is saying. It could not be. It could not be. Target share, 26%, ADOT 13.6. That's decreasing. That target share is dropping. Maybe 20. Maybe 18, 19, 20, 22%, somewhere around that range. So we'll probably get an okay target share. ADOT's always going to be there. It should always be above 10 for George Pickens here. He's always going to run a lot of routes. If it's Aaron Rodgers, we know he can fuel 2 good wide receivers and pretty much just look at them and nobody else. That's what he did with the Jets last year. He got 100 air yards a game. That's great. That's great. I expect something like last year where it's up and down. I think both wide receivers. I think you're going to have these wide receivers running a lot of routes. You're going to have them seeing some deep balls. And you're going to have a hard time guessing who's going to be the wide receiver you want each week. My bet would be DK Metcalf gets the target share win for the year. He will beat out George Pickens for target share. And then George Pickens will have an okay target share. Both of them will have an ADOT above 10. And both of them will probably be around 13 on the ADOT. I don't see that changing much for either wide receiver. I see the target share decreasing for George Pickens, for DK Metcalf to beat him in target share. And I look for them to push it downfield. Both wide receivers being volatile. Both of them having stretch runs where we're looking at these guys as being a fantasy success. And then runs where it's not looking so hot. That just makes sense to me. And where he's being valued with wide receivers, he's in the volatile range. He's in a very volatile range of wide receivers, so it's something to look at here. I like Terry McLaurin. He was on a hot run last year with Jaden Daniels and Jameson Williams, the king of volatility, the king of upside every week. That's a guy to look at. Running backs, you got Chuba Hubbard here. Put more respect on his name because he's going to be getting the touches. Christian McCaffrey, if you're in a win now. But again, these aren't one for one. They're not in concrete, so they're just players to look at to help you get creative with deals you want to do. Davante Adams is now a Ram. Happened last night. We're signing with the Rams. 17.2 points per game with the Jets. 10.1 targets per game. Wide receiver 47 value. I think that's going to increase. And what this is really saying is the Rams are putting the chips back in. They're trying to win a Super Bowl. Cooper Kupp's gone. They got an upgrade. They picked up a wide receiver who can still create separation and get targets. Because that's what he did last year. That's what he did with the Jets. He did that with the Raiders. Davante Adams still has some goods to his game. He's 32 years old, though. Don't expect him for the long term. I think that's common sense. We're not going to dig too deep into that. 29.5% target share. 8.3 ADOT last year. So we're able to command an elite target share, get downfield, create separation. Separation ranks 50th among wide receivers, but we can still get it. We can still get it done. 85 air yards a game, 141 targets on the year, and we know Stafford will fuel him. Second on the team in receiving, but he was not with the Jets for a full season. 854 yards, 7 touchdowns. This is an older wide receiver that has a little bit left in the tank that could help the Rams. Fantasy-wise, I do not want to touch him unless I know for sure right now in February that I can make the playoffs. A few of you can say that. Most of you know you can't. Most of you know you can't. And if you're wondering, I wouldn't do it. 127 overall, wide receiver 47. He's also in a volatile range of wide receivers when it comes to value. Again, it's not one for one, but he is an older wide receiver that can command targets. And if that's something you're needing, there you go. There you go. For the short shot, there you go. Davante Adams chipping it on the green for you. Chris Godwin back with the Bucs. This is the best situation for him. I like him with the Bucs. I like him with Baker Mayfield. Him going back to the Bucs, signing on day one, back to Baker Mayfield and company is a good testimony on the ankle going into 2025. I feel a lot better about that, and I was watching the signing for my clue for that, because if it was a week and a half from today, then I would question it. It's today. It happened quick. It happened within a few hours of it being open. We're back with the Bucs. We have continuity with Baker Mayfield. Wide receiver 40. I should see that go up a little bit. He was averaging almost 20 points per game last year before he got hurt. Averaging 8.9 targets per game. He was on fire. The one number that worried me last year was the 8 out of 5.7. That was an indicator that we could have saw volatility down the back 9 of the season. That was an indicator because you had to rack up volume and have money situations for that to continue to be high scoring, 20 points per game. So that was an indicator. So you might see that nonetheless going forward, especially as we ramp up back from that injury. So I would not be surprised. But I also see him coming back to being Chris Godwin form somewhere down the line, soaking up a good target share. 26.6% last year running a lot of routes at 96% and creating good separation. 21st among wide receiver and target separation. This is all per player profiler. Check them out. But Godwin was a dog in the start of the season. Soaking up targets, racking up fantasy points. Looks like we are back, which is a good thing to see here. And this is a wide receiver that is on the cheap, that is now getting more expensive. We said that there was a high probability of him going back to the Bucs. And I think I'm not the only one that said that. So it's not like it was some grandiose thing. But that was the time to buy. Now the price is going to go up a little bit. He's not going to be as fluid or liquid. And I think he's going to jump a lot of wide receivers here. Name cachet, age, what he did last year. Getting signed quick. People watching this video, hearing the words that he got signed quick and that being a good thing. It's not a guaranteed thing, but it's a good thing. But we got other wide receivers to look at. Him versus Jalen McMillan. That's going to be fun. That could cut into the targets. That could cut into the targets a little bit. McMillan was loved by Baker Mayfield in training camp going into the season. McMillan's probably going to build upon that and how he finished the season last year. That being said, Sam Darnold is a Seattle Seahawk. And what is the Seahawks doing? They're honestly just flipping quarterbacks and honestly doing a lateral move here. Quarterback 25 in the rankings. And we had the Justin Jefferson privilege last year for Sam Darnold. That's all it was. The Justin Jefferson privilege. Now we got the JSN in our back pocket. Can we fuel JSN? Can we do that? We know he will hyper-target one wide receiver and hyper-target the main dude. We know he can do that. Maybe we can do that here. There's nobody else. There's nobody else. But look at the numbers here. Justin Jefferson fueling Sam Darnold, just being one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And I imagine this is what Seattle saw and what they're rolling with. And hopefully they get this. Hopefully. I don't wish bad on the Seattle Seahawks. Maybe it is the right move and I'm just stupid. But still, deep ball completion rate, #1 quarterback in the league. Deep ball attempts, top 10 in pass attempts. We're looking at true passer rating, top 10. We're top 10 in a lot of numbers among quarterbacks. I imagine they looked at that and said, hey, maybe we should dance with Sam Darnold, get rid of DK Metcalf, and then hyper-target JSN. We got a bunch of running backs that we like that are often hurt. What's going to hurt having Sam Darnold back there? What's going to happen? Justin Jefferson, 1,500 yards, 10 touchdowns, 154 targets. Jordan Addison, 100 targets, a lot of pass attempts. The thing about this is pace of play, 24th in the league. This team historically likes to be top 5. I'm talking about the Vikings, not Seattle. So it'll fit more with the pace of play and how they like to run things with Seattle, the run game, and everything else. That might be a good marriage. That might blend well together. Sam Darnold here, mixed in with a lot of other jabroni quarterbacks and mixed in with a lot of other jabroni players. Ricky Pearsall there with upside, Jane Reed. But this is all like theoretical, not the concrete, like I always say. So just use that to build off of when it comes to ideas for you to make trades. Again, no calculator is correct. I'm sorry. No ADP, no rankings. It's not going to be correct. It's going to be correct like maybe if you're lucky 60% of the time. Honestly. Top bettors in Vegas who are reeling in the money. They're saying they're correct 60 to 65% of the time. Damn right, jabronis in the Dynasty Fantasy Football space are going to give you worse results. Worse results. Justin Fields is with the Jets. We're back with Garrett Wilson. That's all I'm hearing about on Twitter these last few minutes. And I like Justin Fields. I like him a lot. He's a fun player. He's a fun player. Just looking at what he can do on the field, just that front of the season there with Pittsburgh, he's okay in fantasy. He could be better. And it could be better. He's got some continuity with his wide receiver. We got Brees Hall. We got an offensive line there. It could be better for him in fantasy football. It could be. Passing wise, if he did not have the rushing production, it would not be glorious. We can definitely say that. We're outside the top 30 in last stats, outside the top 25 in almost all of them. That is something to think about. Can we get up to par with Justin Fields? Can that happen? At his value at QB 28, he's cheap. He's cheap. And he's not cheap no more. He's not liquid. He's being held on to. That's for sure. Should have been picked up when he was an afterthought, especially in season. That being said, when you're looking at Justin Fields and you're thinking about trades, you're pretty much getting him to be that guy to get you that rushing production right now. And you're hoping the Jets don't bring somebody else in. But still, what we saw fantasy-wise start season last year was okay. It was okay. It should be okay or better. Because he runs so much, he's so explosive. It should be okay or better. I like this situation better than Pittsburgh. Remember preseason last year? We saw the offensive line. We saw him get blown up. We saw them having bad communication with the center and snaps in preseason. You saw that, and you saw that going into the year, and we knew what was going to happen. Training camp-wise, Justin Fields is going to light it up with Garrett Wilson. They're going to light it up in training camp, just like he did with George Pickens. So that is going to be your move and marker on when to make the deal to trade up, trade out, or what do you want to do, knowing that in the future. The Jets show a lot of training camp clips, more than most teams. And that will be out here in the space. We will see these two connecting in training camp. I know this. I am the person that knows this. Pittsburgh and the Jets. Those two teams love to show off their players in training camp. You're going to get that connection again this training camp, and that's going to give you a selling off point if you're looking for that for either player, what you want to do. I'm just calling out the moments because I know them. And that is a for sure moment if they're healthy. The healthy. Damn it. Healthy. But 2 wide receiver 3 weeks last year with Garrett Wilson. It was an up and down season, but you look at him. Work rate rise, 9 targets, wide receiver 13, holding strong. I really want to see what the market thinks about this because the market, from what I'm seeing right now, just a basic blue point. Some people liking the connection, some people not. And it seems like it's on either end. Let me know what you think in the comments. Target share wise, 26%, 8.7.9. There's your volatility right there. There's your volatility right there. 7.9, 8. Remember what I was saying about Chris Godwin? Like I said, hey, potential volatility coming up in the back 9 season while looking at that right there, because it's hard to maintain top tier production if your ADOT is low, even with a lot of targets. However, you can get top end volatility, low targets, high ADOT, high targets, low ADOT, because you're going to catch fire on games. And if you're good, it'll be more games than a lot of other wide receivers, but still the volatility is going to be coming. That's what that says, and we'll probably have that again some way, shape, or form. I imagine the targets are going to be there. I imagine the ADOT's going to be roughly the same. I don't think we're going to go too YOLO here. 99.7 route participation rate. Yeah, he's going to be pushing 100, and he's going to be getting opportunities in this offense. I think what you're going to see is very similar to what we saw last year, where it was up and down. Where it's up and down and volatile. And I think him and Justin Fields can gel, and I think they're going to gel well in training camp. We'll see what happens with this team as we get on the field. I think opportunity is still going to be there for Garrett Wilson. I think he'll be okay for fantasy. I don't think you want okay at his price range, though, but I think he's going to be okay, similar to what we saw last year when it comes to fantasy production. Looking at where he's at and the wide receivers around him, you make that move. You tell me what you think. It's not set in stone. More for a list of ideas to get your wheels turning for trades. Ideas of what to look for. But again, early first in 2025, Garrett Wilson, I don't think anybody wants to make that move. I mean, think about it. One way or another, you're not giving up Ashton Genty. I don't think you're going to give up a Merritt Hampton maybe if he lands in a nice spot in the first round. And then Garrett Wilson, you're looking at him. As a talent, it's going to be hard for you to pony up on something a little cheaper knowing what you have. Garrett Wilson is right there at a crossroads, and you got to put the nuts on the table. You got to put the nuts on the table. We're going to be 25 years old soon. We got Justin Fields. If Justin Fields sucks, he's not going to be there too long. He ain't going to be there forever, and they'll move on. That's the thing about that. Garrett Wilson will always be talented, good at the catch point, creating separation. He'll always be there. He'll be an old faithful. Watch the market on Garrett Wilson, because it will do this probably throughout his time there with Justin Fields. You want to time it. If I'm looking to buy, I'm watching the market. I'm watching the people in my league watch their previous trades. And if they're a guy or it's a person that goes ham on news like this, over speculating, Try and get a dip. If you're looking to really sell high, I bet you training camp's going to be the time. The training camp's going to be the time. I guarantee it. From what I saw last year, I guarantee it. With the Jets, they're promoting clips left and right. I'll tell you that much. I'll tell you that much. And you should be excited for that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. One thing for watching. Catch you on the next video.